38 and counting, episode 14. This episode's gonna have the whole fucking shebang. There's a lot fucking going on. We're talking Patriots free agency, which we'll talk off the top. Red Sox starting about a week at Cincinnati. We'll talk about where the roster's at, how that's gonna construct itself. The Celtics, they just dropped a game to OKC in fashion that was unfortunate because both Tatum and White were out. We've got a lot in store. It's always great. Declan Hickey to my left, Jack Hall to my right. If you're listening to us on Spotify, be sure to click that follow and like our podcast. Leave us a review. Tell us what you like, what you dislike. Jack, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
It's always a good day. Declan?
It's always a good day.
Good, getting ready for some a WBC action.
Oh,
tonight.
that's right.
Team
That's
USA.
right. Getting towards the end of it. I'm big Dominican. I've been repping the DR this whole WBC. I think it's the best team I've seen in a really fucking long time, WBC. I mean, top to bottom, watching Juan Soto hit fucking swamp donkeys. It's been an incredible fucking WBC, I'll tell you that. To start off the top, though, the Patriots free agency, I think you could say it's concluded. I don't really know, where to put that. They did do a lot to improve the roster. They're still in need of a number one receiver. They did sign Romeo Doubs. They let Stephon Diggs walk. Elliott Wolf has not ruled out a return for Diggs for that opt-in, I guess, after they released him. Dobbs, I think, is going to be an interesting guy. We talked about Kevin Byard in that secondary, filling in for Jalen Hawkins, a more veteran presence. Had 7 interceptions last year at safety. The first signing of the free agency was Reggie Gillum, who's a fucking fullback from Buffalo. So that should be interesting as well. Just off the top, Jack, your thoughts on free agency? Where did they hit? Where there's still holes? Where do they need to fill? Things like that.
Yeah, I haven't minded it. I think I'm a fan of Byard. I think he's great. And he's obviously proven that he can play. I mean, he was part of the Titans when Vrabel was in Tennessee, years ago. So he knows how Mike's system works. I like the Dobbs signing. I do. I don't think he's a number one. I think he's a number two. But he's about like 6'2", and so he's decent size. I think he's quick, and he can make some plays. I think he's made some plays for the Green Bay Packers offense, in his time there. But just another weapon for Drake. Can't hurt. I'm excited for it. But I think you mentioned holes. Like, I think we still need a rusher, a pass rusher, an edge rusher. Hopefully a tight end. We can either draft one or sign one. I think that's a need for us, because I think in the National Football League you need a pretty solid and pretty good tight end to really have a dominant offense. So I think those two things are probably the biggest needs we have going into the draft.
Yeah. I think free agency's done good. Obviously getting him like a Vera Tucker, depending on how his injuries goes. He's been a little kind of like injury prone here and there in his time in the league so far. But if he's a guy that can pan out, he's a great signing for this offensive line that definitely needs help. Like you saw it in the Super Bowl, they definitely need as much help as they get. I think now they're probably going to keep Will Campbell at left tackle, especially after the signing. I don't think there's any chance of him really moving now. Because what happens with Jared Wilson. We'll see what happens where if he moves, if he goes to center, because they got rid of Bradbury. So see what happens there. I think the Kevin Byard signing, like you said, great. It's sad to see him like Jalen Hawkins walk though. That's the only thing that kind of made me sad about
Doves
that.
in the chat. Doves in the chat. Doves in the right. That's that shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss that.
And yeah, he was one of the only ones trying in the Super Bowl as well. He was one of the only players actually trying.
Along with Christian Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez, but other than Christian Gonzalez, he probably had like the best game other than Gonzalez.
Oh my gosh. If we could dive into that. I mean, that day I wanted to kill myself, but watching Christian Gonzalez ball out was awesome. I also screamed and jumped up and down when Mac Hollins caught that touchdown. because there was a sliver of hope in me that I'm like, okay. And then what does Drake do in the next drive? He turns into a fucking pumpkin and he throws an interception
Yeah,
across the middle of the
but
field.
also at least you get to keep Craig Woodson, who's also been fairly solid though. At least you get to keep one of the two. Chase on does end up leaving though, which is kind of hurts my heart a little bit.
I'm a little lost, right? So, you know,
Yeah,
not yeah, I'm gonna jump in here. Fuck it,
yeah,
right? Draymond uh Jones, what's his name? Jones, Draymond
yeah, yeah,
Jones.
yeah,
I feel like I'm 85 years old forgetting names. I mean, I'm spry, I'm 20, right? He's great.
You old man.
I think he's like a violent rusher. But
yeah.
why would
He's a
you let
rotational piece.
Chase on walk for 12 million? That's it for a year
Yeah,
to Washington? I mean, you could have had both of them. I don't
yeah,
really understand. That's the one I don't get because I'm like, why would you let that guy walk? I mean, Chase on the playoffs. That was a different Chase on. I don't know.
yeah,
That he was ridiculous. He had so
He
many
also he,
moments.
he also won us the Baltimore game. I mean, that turnover, that forced fumble, who knows if that doesn't happen, who
Well,
knows what happens.
what about C.J. Stroud and the
Right.
Texans? I mean, he turned. I'm talking about May turning into a pumpkin in a drive that they could have made it close in the Super Bowl. C.J. Stroud turned into a fucking squash in the divisional round because of Chase On's pressure. I mean, he was unbelievable. So letting him walk, I was a little
yeah.
confused about that.
And then back like and then back to the tight end thing that Jack was mentioning. I think it kind of has to be the draft now, just because likely was really the only really one to get in there, and maybe they could have offered a contract, but it seemed like he was going to go to the Giants just because of the Harbaugh connection, and it still seems like a bunch of players still want to play with him, even though his stint in Baltimore didn't really end the greatest. Even though maybe he does well because the Ravens have put themselves in a horrible situation now, but yeah, I think they would have to draft a tight end, maybe draft a pass rusher. I don't really know how many more pass rushers are on the market as of right now. I know they got Draymond Jones, but he's more of a rotational piece. He's not really like the main guy to go in there and do shit. But overall, I think they made good moves. Dobbs, maybe the AJ Brown thing will come. I think it's more it might happen in the summer, just because they're kind of waiting until contracts. I don't know how the whole thing works, but I know it's something to do with contracts, and it'll
It's a
after
it's about
after
it's the
June.
cap hit. So after June, the
Yeah,
cap
so after June, there's no cap
it's
hit.
much
So
it's much less. But at the same time, and
Right.
I will start this conversation now. You look at the receiving core. I think there's still work to do. By that I mean you need a receiver one. It
Yep.
just kind of looks like the same core it did last year without Diggs. And if you don't move quick enough, the LA Rams will add another wide receiver to their core because they have so many picks, they have so many players that they can exchange for a guy like AJ Brown. And if you look at it again, the Rams, if they acquire AJ Brown, you're talking about a receiving core that, quite frankly, is aging, but a quarterback like Stafford that's on the back end of his career that I don't think he's retiring. If you bring in AJ Brown, you have AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, and Puka Nacua. Who wouldn't want that? And they don't give a fuck about touches because they'll win a Super Bowl that way. I mean, I know the Rams defense isn't great, and I think they've got a lot of holes in their team, but if you don't move quick enough in this AJ Brown sweepstakes, you're gonna lose to the Rams, who have laughed in your face a million times. Even back when Cole Strange out of Chattanooga was drafted at number 22, what was Sean McVay saying? That was my day 3 pick.
And you make a good point, Chuck. If the Rams do come in and sign, AJ Brown and then they have that receiving core and Adams, Nakua, and Brown, uh, you know, fa- fans of other teams, not the Rams, are gonna be like, oh, just double one of them and you'll be okay. Really? Because you have Kyron Williams in the backfield and you have Blake Corum, who's obviously a bona fide stud in the backfield as well. So good luck with that. And you have Tyler Higbee, who can also catch the ball too.
I will say with the Eagles and the Rams, Roseman has less of a chance to fleece LA because it would just be a bunch of picks. I don't think there's anything on LA's roster that they would want. Maybe there's a player or something, but the package, if it's coming from LA, they don't care about their picks because they're well past a rebuild. They're kind of in win now again. So, if they want to send uh, their first this year and a second this year and a second next year, they're willing to do it. Is that an overpay? 100% it is. but they're in such a win now mode that they don't care about their picks. The Patriots are in a completely different boat. They just started this thing. Luckily enough for them, they just got to a Super Bowl. So the level is rather high for this team. They're in a different situation.
And it's again, it goes back to the thing of like, even if the Rams, trade picks and they go from having a lot of picks to not really that many picks. Like at the end of the day, it's still a city of angels, and you're gonna get free agents regardless, right? It's just that's also a factor. I mean, you see it with the Chargers, and then you've obviously seen it with the Rams, right? It's just gonna continually be a free agent kind of target. That city and that community.
Yeah. That don't have
That's you
anything
got
else
nothing.
to
I was like, hey, you do that pause, and you're like, all right, Declan's got to get something here. He's got
Or,
nothing.
well, I don't like there are still other options, even if there isn't AJ Brown, which I know people want AJ Brown, but like there could be some awesome, like if you want to trade with the Dolphins, which I don't know if they would trade in the division, but I'm just saying there's names like Jalen Waddle, there's names on the Jets like Garrett Wilson, so those are still options.
I would love Jalen Waddle.
I mean, you talk about a guy like Garrett Wilson
Yeah,
who has just spent his career with some of the worst quarterback play. I want to
yeah,
remind you guys something. He's 27 years old.
yeah.
I
Who
mean,
is this? I'm sorry.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
I mean, OSU, right? I know you're not a Buckeyes guy, but I mean, unbelievable in college. He gets drafted to New York. Right. Wide receiver U. He gets drafted to New York, and they've got fucking Chuck LaRossi at under center. They've got Jack Hall in the backfield. They've got Declan at fucking tight end. Like, I mean, it's just Aaron Glenn is on the sideline running up and like if I'm Garrett Wilson and I ended my year last year with 600 receiving yards, right? And I'm just stuck in purgatory. That's the type of guy that might have a late blooming career in his 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because of the Jets. And again, is he somebody he's what he can be, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
kind of untouchable because the Jets are like, we've got our guy, but we don't have a quarterback. And who's it gonna
Yeah.
be? Because Garrett Nussmeier decided to go back to college last year and he was terrible. And who are we gonna draft? And it's not fucking Diego Pavia or like it's just what the fuck are they gonna do, Jack?
Well, it's not only that. I mean, they, you saw it with oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name.
Fields.
No. I'm talking about. You said Nussmeier went back to college. The guy from Oregon. He was projected. I'm blanking on his name.
He was on the Browns.
No. The QB now for Oregon.
Oh, the QB now. Yeah, fuck it. I don't know. Yo, Declan,
he is
Google it.
nasty.
Dante Moore.
Dante Moore.
Dante Moore. I can't believe I forgot his name.
That's
Shout
who they're
out
gonna
Dante
pick.
Moore, bro.
That's right.
Shout out. Hey,
That's
Well,
tell
that's
Phil
another
Knight
awkward
we need to get-
situation.
Hey,
Yeah,
Dante Moore.
hey.
Tell Phil Knight we need a Nike sponsorship, bro. Anyways,
That's an awkward situation down there in Oregon. If you saw that.
Dante Moore literally was projected to go to the Jets and said, "Nah, I want to stay here and play college football."
And guess what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
He's going to the Jets.
next year.
You're probably right. But here's the thing. It bothers me because time and time again, obviously, look, Gary Wilson's obviously the number one target for whoever's throwing the ball in New York. But at the end of the day, even if you're the number one target for a situation like that, you gotta kind of be frustrated. Like, I want to win. Like, I'm Garrett Wilson, bro. I don't want to play here anymore because this team sucks. So then, like, if that's his, I mean, now obviously some people verbalize it more than others, but if you're Garrett Wilson and you're the Jets and you kind of like, how do you not know that and be like, you know what, this is beyond football at this point. Like,
Jack, I gotta pause, dude. Declan, I don't know what the hell is going on down there.
I don't either.
There's 9 cop cars in this guy's street. They might have found something in the crib.
I don't know what just happened.
I didn't hear one.
Garrett Wilson being a number one. Jack.
Yeah, like I just at this point it should be more of just we're trying to win games as the Jets because quite frankly you can't. So just think about it. He has a family, right? He's still kind of young. We're gonna put this guy in a position to go make a legacy out of himself.
The only thing though with Garrett Wilson or Waddle is it is in division. That's the only problem. Like the Dolphins or the Jets wouldn't want to trade with us, especially when they are like.
Look at Hendrickson. Look at Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, but he was a free agent. That's the only difference.
Big difference.
That's true.
See, with Waddle, because it's like, because the Jets and the Dolphins know they're terrible, but would they want to just gift the Patriots like what would be their number one wide receiver? You know what I
Probably
mean?
not. Also,
Probably not.
I will say, I know I don't know if this podcast turned to a Jets podcast all of a sudden. We got to get LJ Hernandez
Yeah.
in here.
Oh,
But
ooh, like that's a good idea. I like that.
um, again, like to make a trade like that happen, it's gonna be
Shout out
tough.
SportsCenter, bro. Shout out SportsCenter.
Big shout out, big shout out.
Shout out SportsCenter. But Fumble was not top 10 number one for 6 months, bro. Shout out SportsCenter.
Big shouts out, big shouts out. No sponsor. I again, it's gonna be tough. I mean, and think about how many picks the Jets got for Sauce Gardner. I mean, they got a lot, and Sauce Gardner is a 8th ranked corner in the league.
And you kind of got
Spent a
injured.
lot of time in that blue tent
A
too.
lot of damn time.
You got injured the second
He
got
also
to
can't tackle.
Indianapolis.
So, I mean, coverage demon, sure, but he can't tackle. Our guy can do it all. I'll tell you that. And that's my next thing to talk about. But before we do that, since we are kind of moving around the, I almost said the AL East, the AFC East, I think the Patriots receiving room, along with Drake May, are licking their chops at what Buffalo's doing in their secondary right now. I think that was one of the worst secondary classes any team has had in a long time. They bring in D. Alford, right, to play corner. C.J. Gardner Johnson as well. Just 2 really bad corners. And they're going to start, and they're going to be at the top of this room. So I think Drake May and this receiving core is licking their chops. I will say also about Drake May, he has grown a beard.
I've seen that.
I think bearded May will either be Aaron Rodgers with the wide ass helmet, or he will be a pumpkin. There's no in between. But I really hope that. No, I mean he just had an MVP season. I'm not gonna harp on the guy. But listen, to wrap up on this Patriots free agency, still a lot of holes on this roster. My biggest thing was the linebacking core. You get rid of Jelani Tavai. Christian Ellis is non-tendered, or not Christian Ellis. Jack Gibbons is non-tendered. Robert Spillane's there, but you got 3 linebackers right now, basically. You need 1 more, or 2 more, if that is, so, and, you sign a couple, sorry, I'm forgetting Chad Muma, who was a practice squad signing at the end of the season. So there's 4, but you need a legitimate one. That might be another position to draft at. Again, this is a rebuild. As much as it doesn't feel like it, the Patriots are in the midst of a rebuild. And I think this class is gonna do pretty well. I think Reggie Gilliam's gonna be great for the run game. If Elijah Vera Tucker can stay healthy for 14 games this season, I will be fine with the signing. If he stays healthy for less, I'm gonna be like, fuck, we just threw a lot of money at a guy that quite frankly can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
All right. We got about a couple of weeks from the Boston Red Sox opening day. Gonna be down in Cincinnati. Tito, as my grandpa calls Terry Francona's squad. Everyone calls him Tito, not just my grandpa.
Yeah.
But we're going to face that squad. Ellie De La Cruz at the top. They're missing Hunter Green as he's going through surgery. Andrew Abbott is on the bump for the Reds. Garrett Crochet on the opposite side. It looks like the rotation has been set. We talk about it top to bottom. We've said it, this whole offseason. It looks like Garrett Crochet, Rangers Suarez, Sonny Gray, Brian Bayo, who's I think one of the biggest question marks in this rotation right now, next to Sonny Gray. And then Johan Oviedo, who has been lights out in spring training. He has been so fun to watch. I think they found something in Oviedo in that trade with Joe Stinks and Garcia to the Pittsburgh Pirates, who Joe Stinks in this spring training, he's ripped the cover off the ball for Pittsburgh. So I hope he starts down there, the password as they call him. I think it's going to be fun for this rotation. I think Marcelo Meyer is going to make the roster, 98% chance, and that's my reading on it. That's Chris Castillo's reading on it as well. So, it's kind of set. We've had this conversation about this lineup, what it's going to be like. And now, for this first series, I'll start with you, Declan, your expectations for this series against the Reds opening the season. And where do you think this team's going to be set before they come home to Fenway?
Like this team, this Reds team, they kind of barely snuck into the playoffs. last year, and then they had to get set up with the Dodgers, which was kind of unfortunate for them because I think they kind of like overexceeded their expectations because I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs until they kind of barely just made it because the Mets like did what the Mets always do and choke. But I think they should fare fairly well against this team. Obviously, no Hunter Green that definitely hurts this team. Um, I think the Red Sox have looked good in spring training. A lot of them have looked good in the WBC. You know, like Jared Duran's looked like he's like changed the swing up, and he just looks like he's gotten just more power. So kind of maybe seems good that they didn't trade him as of right now. Maybe it'll change, but he's looked great. Masaki Yoshida, as much as we like harp about him, he's been great in the WBC. He's been just like launching the ball. You talked about Brian, like even like Brian Bayo's had one of his best performances like ever that like I've seen him have in like a while. You know, like he went what in against Israel he went like 5 innings, under 65 pitches, 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, he
So
was
I
getting his changeup was actually working. It was hovering at
yeah
87, 86. Last season he ended his changeup was at like 92, which is not a changeup,
yeah
it's a fastball.
Yeah.
So I again, he is a question mark to me still because spring training has just not looked good. WBC is a
yep
completely different animal.
yep
I will say. But I will not use that logic with Jaron Duran because his swing, it took them this long to tell him get loose at the barrel or
yeah
at the handle. And he's just been loose up there and he's just, throwing his hands at the ball and the ball is fucking flying. Either they're juicing the ball or Jaron Duran is
it
going to have
looks
another great year.
but I'm just saying like his swing looks different. It just looks like it just looks like he feels more comfortable too. You know what I mean? Because there's been so many times where like especially in the plays where he misses the curveball, he looks very like uncomfortable. He kind of doesn't really know like what to do. But WBC, he's looked good. Unfortunately, Team Mexico's not in the knockout stage because I would have loved to see that because that team has been very fun to watch. The like Team Mexico, a great team to watch, but unfortunately, but the long story short, I think they should do fairly well against the Reds. I think the Reds will take a game probably in the series. But I'd say they start off the series on the year 2-1, even though that team is very hard to beat. That Reds
It's a
team.
good team. Ellie De La Cruz is a great player. The rotation is just not really in a good spot for them when they're losing Hunter Green, but Andrew Abbott should do. Jack, your expectations going into this series before I get into mine?
Um, I don't think I can really give a fair estimate because I don't know a whole lot about this Reds team. I do know who Hunter Green is. I do know that, he's a stud. So him not pitching is definitely definitely helps us a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not really looking at anything specific other than just the fact that, the Sox, I don't know, we tend to really not start too hot and then in middle of, July or, late June, we kind of just go stupid. Um, but maybe this year, the team can prove me wrong and start hot and get off to a little bit of a hot streak coming back to Fenway.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
the Reds team also brought back Suarez as one of their big
yeah,
signings this year.
Eugenio Suarez ends up in Cincinnati. I will say this Red Sox team is definitely still missing a bat. And I think, we'll see the month of April will be interesting for Tristan Casas, who will start in Worcester. He hasn't played a spring training game. His rehab got pushed back. He's been playing in the backfields. His swing looks good. He looks really loose, really lean. But time will tell and play is, whatever the plays you make at the plate, the bat to ball, that's all that matters at the end of the day. So I can
Mhm.
talk about this guy like he can come back. And at the end of the day, if Masataka Yoshida is still on this roster come opening day, which it's really looking like he will be,
Yep.
there's not much of a fit for Tristan at the DH spot.
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense because, you DH him and rotate with Contreras. But it's just looking like Yoshida's going to be on this team and it's going to be another burden because you don't know where to put him. He can't play defense. He's not a great DH. He doesn't strike out. He hits the ball. He gets bat to ball, but you need more pop. So we'll see how that ends up going. I do think the Red Sox will take opening day over Abbott. I think Crochet will just do what he does as the ace for this team and just rip the Reds in half,
Yeah.
and just play their game the way they want to play it. I think Caleb Durbin will be great hitting gaps. I say first home run of the season, Willie Abreu. I think Abreu's going to pop one to right field and say bye to it. And Roman Anthony will probably go. I'm going to say 1 for 4 day for Roman Anthony. I think he'll get a single. I think he'll strike out twice, just for that top of the lineup. But yeah, Willie Abreu first homer call for me. So time will tell. Again, Thursday, March 26th is this first game against Cincinnati. So we're about 2 weeks out or less than 2 weeks now. This being recorded on Friday, the 13th. Yeah, I think that kind of wraps our Red Sox talk.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of it's kind of quick. We'll have to wait and talk a little bit more once opening day comes, and we'll complain and we'll laugh and we'll cry and it will all happen.
But at least we got the WBC in the meantime.
That's right, and it's been really fun. I do think Tarek Skubal going back to Detroit was kind of lame, or as Jack would say, bitch made. Just a quote there from Jack Halal. I don't like it. I mean, I know
What
you're in a.
happened?
Tarek Skubal pitched one game in the WBC and then went home.
It's weird.
I mean, it is a contract year. He's going to be a free agent after the season. He will make a lot
Yeah.
of money. He'll probably go to the Dodgers, which is just awesome. But if this whatever this collective bargaining agreement is, because we might not have a season next year, we will see what that entails, and if the Dodgers can keep doing what they've been doing with deferment and loading their rosters up, because there's no salary cap or salary floor and blah 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 yada yada yada. Holy fuck, we've been talking about it for so long. We'll see what the collective bargaining agreement is. They can't kick the can down the road because they already kicked it, back in 22, so they can't do it again.
Right.
But again, yeah, Skubal went home. Paul Skeens had a fucking incredible game. Bobby Witt Jr. is the American hero out of Kansas City. I fucking love watching him play baseball. I wish he was on my team. His favorite player is Dustin Pedroia, so it's just always great. But he's one of those kids that was like, I love Dustin Pedroia. I also loved Alex Rodriguez. So it's just like, okay, like whatever.
Well,
Pick a fucking side, Bobby Witt.
well, also the biggest hero for the USA team wasn't even a guy on the USA team.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like Vinny, like
the
Pasquantino,
Pasquatch.
Pasquatch. He basically like put the US into the
Yeah.
into the knockout stage.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's always strange when your manager doesn't realize that you haven't been eliminated
Oh,
yet,
oh, he's the
or you
oh,
haven't made it yet.
don't get me started on him.
Oh, jeez.
He's the worst.
Celtics dropped their game against OKC. I'm tired of fucking watching SGA play basketball. I don't like. Listen, I love superstars. I do. I love them. I think they're fun to watch. They make the game much better. Jack has had
Mhm.
this argument about how superstars in this era would obviously beat the shit out of superstars in other eras. It's 100% true, but every era has its superstars. The thing
Yeah.
about SGA that I fucking hate watching is that every time he's on a fast break, I know he's going to bump and I know he's going to get the foul. And if he's not going to get the N1, he's going to go to the line. And it's as Jaylen Brown stated during the game, that's just not fucking basketball, as he said on a hot mic, as SGA got fouled for like the 50 millionth time. Yeah, it's just a little. Oh, we lost Declan.
Shout out JB, man.
We just lost Declan.
Damn, maybe the ops are really at his house.
Camera and microphone mute. You can see something. You don't see this part right here. This is half my camera. Declan's usually here. But anyways, yeah, as Jaylen Brown said, I mean, is that basketball? Jack, your thoughts on this OKC Celtics game? Is the Celtics definitely played better than I thought they would.
Yeah.
But without Tatum and White, how do you scale this to what a playoff game would be like?
Yeah, I mean, it's, obviously without two of our starters, it's, it's tough to judge, but Jaylen Brown was the Jaylen Brown we know. Obviously the defense of White and Tatum, and obviously they're both of their scoring abilities kind of hurt us a little bit. If we can compete with them, that well without two of our starters, it definitely makes you feel better.
I'm
Uh,
back.
but
Oh,
I don't know. I just look, man. I mean, Jalen's always going to do his thing, and I think Shea is just you know like you said, it's always gonna he's gonna find a way to go to the line and get his points. And I just think it's really cool to see when that happens. Not only when that just happens, but even this whole year. Like, Ron Harper's been doing his role very well. The Garza and Gonzalez have been playing um, well and doing what they need to do. Like our bench is good. Our bench is gonna figure it out and we're gonna have support with them in the postseason.
yeah. Just to take with the SG8 then, you know, I do get Chuck why you're like mad about how SJ moves, but like the numbers do make sense though for why he gets that many free throws.
Mhm.
He does get the most points on drives. He averages the most drives in the league, which which then to the other kind of more like Jalen gets the second most drive points, but he doesn't always get the whistle, which is really unfortunate because they both drive a lot and only one of them gets the free throws. Um, I think the Celtics team played well without having Derek White, without having Tatum. Tatum doing his Lou Dort conditioning, as they would say, because no one wants to be near that guy. After what he did to John Morant, what he did to what he's done to Jokic. So those are just two things, two incidents. I think they adapted well. I think the bench is looking better than they ever have. Like obviously Jordan Wall, Chuka Gonzalez, your energy guys. You know, bringing Ron Harper, Ron Harper's done pretty good for his role. I don't know how much he will be present when it comes to playoff time because you kind of want to shrink the rotation a little bit. So I don't know if he'll get all the minutes there, but I still think they played pretty well against the Thunder team. It's definitely going to be exciting when they meet back up in 12ish days, where they're going to have Tatum and Brown, or where they're going to have Tatum and White, hopefully healthy for that game. So that'll probably be a better test for them because they only lost by two without two of their best players. So you know, unfortunately on this road trip they only won one out of the three games, but you know, Spurs game was kind of a wash because their best player got ejected kind of in the second quarter. You can't really do anything about that, but I think they played well. But I still do understand your frustrations about SGA, how the Thunder basically got a game-winning free throw. Unfortunately, Pritchard had somewhat of a good look, couldn't really get the go. It's kind of a tough shot. So, and they were there, but they come back to Boston. They won't have to play too many serious teams. The only difficult team really going to be like the Suns tomorrow, but they kind of get not that many difficult teams for the next couple games. So yeah,
16 or so games left. I'm not nervous, but I want to know how this team's going to play against competition. I think they can be good.
yeah,
It's just I don't I want to see it. I want to see the players that I had no faith in for the regular season continue to be great in the playoffs. Earlier in the offseason, like Luka Garza, Vucevic will be back for the playoffs, I'm sure, and that finger is probably nagging him a little bit, but I I just think this will be important for Tatum's recovery, and then because he's gonna have to play 100% in the playoffs, and he's gonna have to kind of be Iron Man, um, you know, and the teams on the East, I think they can compete really well. I think Detroit can be a good game. Um, I'd love to see that again. I know I was in fucking Siberia watching that game live, but it was a fucking awesome atmosphere, and Jack was on the floor sending me videos of fucking Cade yamming it in pregame. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it would be a fun matchup. I do think the East is definitely doable for the Celtics team, but it's about the West. I think OKC is going to find their way back into the finals. And again, I like Denver, I do, but I just think that SGA and what that group has accomplished. As much as I don't like Chet, I think Chet's a great basketball player. I know he got fucking blocked by Jalen and dunked,
yeah,
at the other end, but they've got a great five, and I think that team just plays
yeah.
together. Their bench is good. If they can get McCain to get at least 7 points off the bench or eight, I think they've won that trade if that can happen, because I know he did have a 20-point game at some point
Yeah.
in OKC, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a Thunder in the finals, and if the Celtics navigate through Detroit in the East, I think
You
they're
think
gonna.
they beat the Spurs? Which is a good
I
question.
think OKC will beat the Spurs. Yeah.
I think the Spurs are a better team.
I do think the Spurs. I think the Spurs are a better team, but I also do think the finals run they just had, that whole playoff, having the playoffs under your belt is definitely going to help them. It is Victor
Yeah.
Wembanyama, who I think is he's not really the gentle giant he used to be. I think he's kind of morphed his game, and he knows he's one of the faces.
But he also, to be fair to what you're saying, he hasn't played a playoff series in his career
Exactly.
yet.
But I'm just saying, I think before we go to Jack, I just think that Wembanyama is no longer kind of like that. All right, the really, the gentle giant, tall guy, plays the game really well, different place. I think he's found his way, and he's got a confidence to him. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
an interesting series if it is the Thunder and the Spurs. Jack,
I just think I think that series is gonna be an unbelievable series if it's the Western Conference Finals. Spurs, Oklahoma City Thunder. I just think I honestly think I would give the slight edge to San Antonio for this reason. I think it's so hard to go back to back and not let alone win, but even to go back to the finals. Like I don't know. It's so hard to do. And the Spurs are, I mean, they're scary, man. So are the Thunder, right? But again, I just think, I mean, we haven't seen a back to back champion since what? 17, 18 with the Warriors. Like,
Yeah.
and has anyone even gone back to had an opportunity to go back to back, since that? I don't think so. So that's why I'd give the slight edge to San Antonio.
I do think watching Wembanyama play, I mean, he's an alien.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally an alien. I mean, once he starts hitting his shots, you can't stop him because of the height. I mean, I remember watching games last year. I mean, I'm talking maybe 2024. Like, I'm talking about the New Year's. I think it was the New Year's game, Celtics Spurs. I think so, going into 25. And he just looked really off. He was trying to figure himself out a little bit. He was getting bumped up a little bit, thin guy, missing a ton of shots, but there was promise. But, once he started hitting and he became the captain, the leader of that team, I mean, it's Victor Wembanyama. I mean, there's a reason why that guy's one of the greatest fucking French athletes I've ever seen in my life.
And you surround them with like so many good guards, so many good like scorers on that team. You take like Fox, you take like any of the shooters. Like you got Devin Vassell, you got Champagne or Champagne, or however you say.
Yeah, Vassell and Champagne. I mean, incredible players.
He's an incredible like 3-point shooter. He had that crazy game on New Year's. I don't know if you saw where he hit 11 threes. He got like the record for the Spurs. So he's another crazy player for that team. That's why like matchup wise, I think the Celtics would have an easier time beating the Thunder because I feel like they match up better. I don't think they match up as well against the Spurs just because of the Wemby difference. Like Keita really had a terrible game against him. They had to sub him a lot. Like Garza tried his best with what he could do. I think Garza had some good defense, but on the switching, they did a really bad job on that.
With
But yeah,
the only way I look at it, if you had a healthy Kristaps Porzingis, it's kind of the only way you can guard Wembanyama.
maybe, and even still, he was not even the best defender.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I think the East. I think it's. I don't give a shit about Cleveland.
We beat them.
I don't care. I mean, I don't care if we beat them. I don't give a shit about them. I mean, I don't. I've never liked James Harden. I think he's a great basketball player. I think he's a phenomenal basketball player. I just think he's a traffic cone on defense. So I think when it comes to being in the playoffs,
Fair.
There's not much you can do about there. Jack, you're shaking your head.
2018 James Harden.
I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, we know why you can't stand that guy, LeBron James. Fucking.
No, but not only that, like at some point, dude, you've been in the league for how long? Like, dude, you got to change your look. All right, the beard's it's just old. It's time. It's outdated. Beard. It's just too long. Like I just
2018 though, he was a demon to watch. You can't lie.
Yeah, he was a demon. But at the same time, watching him play defense is funny. It's like Luka. It's like 10 times worse than Luka.
I
You know,
would say.
I'm all set with
He's a
James.
better
I think
defender
his
than
time is
Luka. Are
done.
you kidding?
I'm
In
not a
the
fan. Never
Celtics
have
Cavs
been.
game, the regular season that we just watched, he looked like 10 times worse than Luca.
I think in general he can play better defense than Luka can, though.
Sure. I'm not, and again, Spidey is terrifying. Spidey's
Yeah.
a fucking
He's
terrifying
a
basketball player.
dog.
He is. And I like him. When I'm playing him, I don't like him. I despise every fucking player we play because that's the type of mentality you're supposed to have. But yeah, he's, he hits every fucking shot. He's so confident.
But I think they always have a good counter for him because they can always let him go,
Yes.
but they're always so good at
Yeah,
like
and
not letting
like Evan Mobley, really?
like okay,
Really?
like not too much.
He was
he's a
supposed
good
to be
player.
like the next fucking guy, right? He's this wing. You have no idea about Evan Mobley. He can once he can shoot. He's got.
Yeah.
It looks like when he's out there, he just cried for 5 hours before he got on the floor. He looks like he
think the
has
only
zero
team
confidence.
That would really is gonna be a challenge is the Pistons.
It's
I think
yeah.
I think we're better than the Knicks. I think
Yeah,
we
I'm
can beat
good. The Knicks, I'm fine. We can beat the Knicks in a series. I'm fine
We
with
can beat
that.
the Raptors.
Yeah. You know what's
Sure.
crazy? The Knicks, they finally got our name, right? Last playoffs, Tatum gets hurt. They finally get our name. And their fucking fans won't shut the fuck up about it. It's like, man, you guys finally beat us, and then you didn't do anything, obviously, after. But it's just like, whatever. Jesus. But again, it is Detroit. And Cade is Cade Cunningham. And I fucking hate Isaiah Stewart. I think he's so, like, oh my God, I fucking hate watching him play basketball. But that team is good. I mean, they're deep. They got a good rotation. It's gonna be down to I think it's gonna be a Celtics Detroit ECF and a Spurs OKC WCF.
Yeah. I think that's the consensus. I don't really think any of the other teams. I don't think the Lakers are good enough
Oh,
as a team. I think Luka's great.
Luka needs to get the fuck out of LA. He needs to find another place to stay.
Like I don't know what Rob Pelinka thinks at night. I don't know how he thinks. I don't even know if he has a brain.
No, I will say, hey, one of the greatest second round picks of all time, Bronny James. He's tearing it up in G League right now.
That's true.
He is tearing it up. And Bryce
Well,
James, he didn't post a single stat for Arizona this year. He will next year, but he didn't post one this year. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think Bryce James can maybe make the NBA.
Yeah.
He's a slasher. He gets the rim. He looks good. But we'll see how it is in a full college season. Not to hop on the, Jack's unfortunate winding down LeBron train, because I think this is it for him. And I think he's going to go out like Tom Brady did in a very strange and sad way.
I don't know. I can't see it happening this year. It's weird. I can't see it happening this year, but I think it will. I think this is his kind of last year.
But it's really good like this. Like it's like when
I know.
Brady. It's like when Brady came out of retirement, and then they got deep, and then he's like, "All right, I'm going to stay one more," and then he lost to the Cowboys in a wild card game, and then that was it.
I know. I don't know. When that day comes, I'm going to be in my room, teary-eyed. It's going to be tough, but, hey, it's obviously Father Time is undefeated. But I've enjoyed I unlike a lot of other people.
I never said I didn't enjoy LeBron James's play.
Who said they hate LeBron?
Every single Boston fan I talk to.
I don't hate LeBron.
Okay, maybe other than you guys. But I'm saying the general Boston Celtic fan despises LeBron.
Yeah, because when you play LeBron James, you're not supposed to sit there and go, "Oh, we're watching greatness. Oh my God." No, when you're playing LeBron James, you say, "Fuck you, LeBron."
Yeah,
you
because
fucking asshole.
Because you.
I mean, he's nasty.
Yeah, but okay.
He's not. I mean, he's nasty.
Yes, we know, but every year he won the East.
I mean, he took Big Z to the finals.
Okay, but I'm just saying, beating the Boston Celtics almost every year.
Yeah, that's why we don't like him. Why don't what?
2012, he beat the fuck out of us in Game 6 and Game 7.
Things changed. Oh my God, Jack! I met
2016.
David Tyree yesterday, and I said, "David, that was an incredible helmet catch." because I know things change.
Bro,
No,
All right,
Bro,
that's
fuck
different.
the Giants.
That's different.
Jack.
Fuck.
2017, they beat down on us when like Isaiah Thomas got injured. 2018, they beat up on us when we were 7 points up with 3 minutes
Do you know
left. We were
how
about
how
to win.
close I was to buying that Jason Tatum poster on LeBron? I was like, oh, I'm about to buy this shit, and
You know
then we
who you
lost.
can blame for that 2018 Game 7 loss?
Who? You gonna say Jason Tatum?
Terry.
Fuck Terry Rozier.
Because he had money on that on
Fuck.
Cleveland that game.
Fuck Terry Rozier.
He
Fuck
did.
him.
I'm just saying.
2019 in that offseason, I thought our fucking team was going to explode because of Terry Rozier. We got Terry Rozier saying, they're not utilizing me correctly. Jaylen Brown, I want to get traded. Jason Tatum, I want to get traded. Kyrie Irving and Terry Rozier might have actually almost killed the Celtics in that season.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got to fucking end it. That was an incredible show. I think we put together a great fucking show. Did we talk about the Jets for fucking 10 minutes? We did.
Yeah.
We did talk about the Jets for 10 minutes. Are we a Jets podcast? No, we're not. But we did talk about the Jets for 10 minutes.
We might get our honorary Jets fan.
That's right. Jack Hall, Declan Nicky, if you're watching us, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're listening on Spotify,
Peace.
leave a like, leave a review. It's too fucking early, Jack. I didn't say bye yet.
Unpeace.
Jump the gun.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
There it is.